I had a request on one of the videos I posted recently about possibly showing gun cleaning tips and tool maintenance ideas. As far as tool maintenance goes, there's not a whole lot to them. You just oil them with air tool oil on a regular basis. If they have any grease points in them, grease them every now and then, and that pretty much will make your tools last longer. On the gun cleaning, my gun cleaning may be a little bit different than others. Some shops, if you're a high volume shop, you've probably got a gun cleaner where you dump your remaining paint out, and you put your gun inside of this cabinet and you push a button and it goes, sprays all kinds of solvents through there and pretty much cleans the gun for you. I unfortunately don't have one of those, mainly because I'm a smaller shop, I don't have room for one, and I'm not doing volume paint work here either, which is another reason I use these. So one of the things I do to make my cleanup easier is I use these silicone-free bags. They're cup liners. Now a lot of shops, if it's a high volume collision shop, they have a system out that has a cup very similar to this. It has a screw-on lid with a special adapter on it, and you put an adapter on your gun in place of where your cup screws in. And the cup that comes in the kit will attach onto that fitting, and it holds your paint. And once you're finished painting, if there's any paint left, there's a lid you can put on it to save that paint. Or if you're not going to save it, you can toss the cup, and that part of your cleanup is done. So you're not trying to clean out your cup per se. Now, because I don't use those because of the cost factor. The setup costs money, and I've got 4 guns I use, so I'd have to buy an adapter for each gun to use those cups on, and then I have to buy the cups all the time, which are more money than these bags cost me. And I've been using these bags for 20 plus years now, and I love them. They're made by the DeVilbiss company, which is a gun manufacturer, paint supply manufacturer. So the way they work is it comes with a stick and some little bungs. You push the stick inside of the bag, it pokes through with your bung attached to it, and then it fits down inside of another bung that you install inside of the bottom of your cup. And basically it does 2 things really. It keeps your cup clean so you don't have as much to clean up, and it also allows you to use a gravity feed gun in the upside down position, because with the sealed bag, when you hold the gun upside down and hold the trigger in, the air will start to draw a vacuum inside until the bag is sucked down enough where it starts to draw paint out of the bag. So it's good for using that way too, so you can get into other positions with your gun to spray with. You can get upside down in some places that you might not be able to spray with if you have to hold your gun level. On a gravity feed, that's important so your paint comes down out of the cup into your mixture area. So when I go to clean my gun, what I do is the bag is inside. I basically will turn the gun upside down, and I pull the trigger, and that releases any paint that's up inside of this area here to go back down inside the bag. And I reach up inside and just grab down around either side of the bung, pull it down, and out comes my bag with any remaining paint in it. Now this also takes care of my paint disposal, because the paint will stay in this bag and you let it sit, put it in the garbage can, let it sit, and it'll dry and harden up, and then it just goes out in your regular waste garbage. So we're going to take this, toss it in the garbage. Fortunately, I had more primer made up than what I needed. So then the next step, what I do, I take the cup that I mixed my primer in, and I have a squirt bottle with some wash thinner, and I just add a little bit inside. And then I have several brushes that you can buy a gun cleaning kit at your local paint jobber, and I'll use that to go down inside of the large opening that the primer goes through, and just give it a scrub to clean any of that primer out of there. and then just open up the trigger until I get the wash thinner to start flowing, and that's going to let it wash through there. And then I have what looks like a toothbrush, and I use that to clean the nozzle with. You get paint build up around here, so I go around and clean my nozzle, clean my gun tip, and get any remaining paint that may be on here off. And I always have a supply of rags, and I reuse my rags. These are usually the rags that I use to wipe the cars down with. You know, I'm only using one side, so I'll turn them out, and I use them to wipe everything down with. Once I see that the outside of my tip is clean, I'll remove it. And you'll always have some primer inside of there. So we'll give that a little scrub. Let's add some wash thinner inside of it. And just go around with that brush. Give it a good clean. Rinse it out. And that leaves the tip clean. So now we want to go ahead and run some more thinner through here. Primer it can build up inside of the mixture chamber inside of your gun. So you want to make sure you get it cleaned out really good. So the next step is, well, clean the outside of that tip off. This is the tip that regulates the amount of material that comes out. They come in various orifices. This is a 1.3, and depending on what paint you're spraying, the manufacturer will recommend a size tip to use on the gun. So this is a 1.3 I used for this primer. I wanted to get a little finer pattern on it. So we'll go ahead and just get that cleaned off. Same way, we just going to use the brush and squeeze as we're moving out, moving the thinner through it. Give it a rinse. And I'll take my wrench and take this tip off. Set my gun over here. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but inside of there the paint has built up inside because the primer starts to dry pretty quick. So we'll go ahead and clean this out. I'm trying to get done quick. I hear the grandkids coming. Alright, so we clean all that primer out of there. Make sure we got good flow through there. Looks good. Set that over there to dry. And then same thing inside of here. You get a lot of paint primer buildup in the bottom of there. It's not so bad when you're spraying a base coat or a clear coat. They don't tend to build up like that. But these heavy primers will. And then I've got a set of smaller, finer brushes that I use to get up inside of there and just go around and just clean around the inside. Get all that primer out of there. The one thing you don't want to do is let a gun sit with primer in it. It'll harden up and clog up your gun, and then it won't spray right, or it won't spray at all. If it does happen, it's not the end of the world. You can disassemble the entire gun, and you can stick it in some sort of a pan and fill it with wash thinner, and you can submerge the entire gun in there and let it set, and it'll soften everything back up to where you can get it cleaned out and get it working properly again. So we're just going to wash that through. And another thing you can do to get it cleaned out even better, which is really a good idea with these primers, This is the trigger limiter. Just take this out, set it aside, push the needle through, and that's the needle that closes off that orifice. Give it a good wash. Get all that primer off of there. And then you can get way back inside of there with a bigger brush and get all that primer cleaned out. So we're gonna just put a little bit of wash thinner in there, and we'll use the bigger brush. Get down inside of there. Just get in there and just scrub it around. And just rinse everything out really good. Some down through the top. And everything looks pretty good in there. And that's pretty much all there is to it with these gravity feed guns. They're really easy to keep clean. You don't really need a sophisticated gun cleaning system. I guess if you're a high volume collision shop and you're doing a lot of painting, you'd want to have one of them. You just take the gun and put it in there and let the machine go. But I'm in no hurry here to get anything like that done, so I don't have 10 cars waiting to come in the paint booth and get painted, so I can clean every gun by hand. So that's pretty much how you would go about cleaning a paint gun. All the different brands of gravity feed guns are pretty similar in how they're designed and their makeup is. So you would clean them all in about the same fashion. Some are a little bit different as far as the way the needles come out of them, but other than that, the basic design is the same, so you would clean it the same way. Again, I appreciate everybody watching. Little instructional video on how to upkeep your paint guns. And if you like this video, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Please tell your friends about this. Leave me a comment in the comment section. And I'll see you again soon.